How do we get on that Millionaire Fastlane? I'm Nate, I'm the FitFutureMD, upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Pick up the nutrition and health guide in the description below if you are interested. I'm the owner of Ensorsale. Ensorsale is family. Together, we rise up from humble beginnings to inspire others all over the world with the messages on our t-shirts. Wear your inspiration today. What you wear matters. What you see every day matters. Spread positivity around. See positivity around. That's what Ensorsale is all about. Ensorsale is going to allow you to level up your life step by step so that you can become your full potential, right? That's what Ensorsale is about, right? You start that with your mind, with affirmations, with sayings that inspire you. So go to Ensorsale.com. Let's say the curve logo is out right now. I also have Straight Up Risen is still out right now. So check that out in the description below, Ensorsale.com. Use FitFutureMD for 20% off if you're interested. All right, so what is the Millionaire Fast Lane versus what is the slow lane, right? So the slow lane basically says, I'm going to work for somebody for 30 to 40 years, and I'm going to save and invest 10 to 15% of my income so that when I retire a millionaire, right? So that's called the slow lane because it takes 30 to 40 years for you to get there. Now, don't get me wrong, for most people, most people are going to make between $1 million and $2 million in their lifetime, right? So to have $1 million left over when you're finished is pretty freaking good when you only make 2 million, right? But when you get to that 30 or 40 years, you never really get to enjoy the money, right? Most people die within 5 years of retirement, right? So keep that in mind. That's why we're going to what's called the fast lane. We're taking a little bit of a risk to get to that fast lane, right? So what is the Millionaire Fast Lane? Well, the Millionaire Fast Lane is coming up with a system or process in business that can make you $1 million quickly, right? So instead of, you making 50K or 60K a year, investing 15K, and waiting 30 years, you're investing 15K and making that $1 million in 5 years or 10 years, right? And that's called the fast lane because it's in a third of the time, right? So that's one thing that I would like to say is that, when I originally read about the Millionaire Fast Lane, I thought, that most people would start a business and then immediately be a millionaire. What I didn't realize is that most people start businesses and barely make what they were making at their job, right? 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. They never actually become profitable, right? So, and the reason they don't become profitable is because of the sense commandments of business, right? Of the business fast lane, right? So these commandments are basically the characteristics of what your business should be like, right? So that you can actually make it to that $1 million mark, right? And so we'll start with the first one. The first one is that the community that you're in needs the business, right? So for instance, right now there's a lot of, in my area, there's a lot of people coming out with like drink shops or shake shops or Herbalife shops, right? Where you go in and get healthy teas, healthy protein shakes, that kind of thing. Well, if you have 5 of those in your area, opening a 6th is probably not a good idea, right? It's not going to follow the sense commandments. There's no need for it in your community, right? So then the second one is what's called entry, right? So there needs to be some kind of barrier to entry to start that business, right? So that, you are one of two, maybe three people in the state that you're in that's starting that business, right? I chose to start a brand, right? Starting a brand is very difficult. The barrier to entry on product is very high, right? Overhead. So, but the barrier to entry, like I've said in a previous video, the barrier to entry to a brand has decreased, due to social media, right? And due to, due to like a website being cheaper and, all that kind of stuff, right? It's not as expensive as it once was, and most people can do it from home now. So the entry for a brand has kind of decreased, but like I say, if you feel like, I feel like the world needs a mindset change, right? And that's really what Ensorsale is about. Ensorsale is about seeing positivity everywhere and changing your mindset and believing that you can be on the Millionaire Fastlane, right? And that's what Ensorsale really does for people. That's what this mentorship program that I have does for people, right? It's going to change your mindset so that you know and show you the way to get on this Millionaire Fastlane, right? So keep that in mind when it comes to entry. It has to be difficult for a competitor to come and take you out, right? So it'd be very difficult to start Amazon now. It'd be very difficult to start Walmart now, right? Not saying it can't be done, but it's very difficult, right? So I think this is the one that most people starting a business now, have a problem with, and that's control, right? So most people want to start a YouTube channel. Most people want to start, be famous on Instagram now. Well, the problem with starting a YouTube channel and being famous on Instagram is that you don't have control of those platforms, right? Somebody else controls the narrative on those platforms, right? So if you're speaking about something that may take you off, so say Andrew Tate, being controversial, they immediately deplatformed him, right? Bye, business gone, right? So, and on these platforms to really get attention, you kind of have to, tug the line a little bit, right? Like push that line to get that attention, and and they could deplatform you, right? So the way we get around this, right? So is we want to immediately turn these followers into customers on our customer list. So we want their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, right? We can always mail them. We can always text them. We can always email them, right? They become our customer. So that's the goal. So if you're starting a YouTube channel, starting your Instagram, starting your TikTok, your goal is to get all those people on your customer list, right? So what I do is I give away my health and nutrition guide for free, right? And that puts you onto my customer list, right? So that I can market to you my products, right? My services, my mentor program, right? You become my customer by getting this free product from me, right? And it provides value. Providing that free value is what you're getting in exchange for being on my customer list and being my customer. And when I help you with, if my nutrition and health guide actually helps you, then you're going to tell somebody else, right? And then they're going to be on my customer list, right? It's going to be word of mouth advertising, right? So that's going to drive the price of advertising way down, right? Because that's how a business actually survives, is word of mouth, right? If you have to depend on a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad or a billboard or whatever to keep your business going, then you will lose. Over time, you will lose, right? So that's how we overcome control when we're doing YouTube, when we're doing Instagram, we're doing social media. And this is what people don't tell you, right? They don't tell you how to get control. So when you're in my mentor program, that's one of the first things I'm telling you. You got to get, when you sell a product or when you give something away for free, you have to get a name, you have to get a number, you have to get an email address, right? Hopefully the home address too, right? If you're sending them a product, you're getting their home address too, so you can actually write them a letter. Thank you for ordering from me this year, right? Christmas, send them Christmas cards, right? Stuff like that, like old school business tactics work great, right? So that being said, that's control. You have to have control of your business, right? So then the next one is scale, right? Your business has to scale, right? If you can't, if you're only limited to your area, that business is not scalable, right? So if a business can't scale, so say you can only do 10 customers a day, right? That, you're not going to be able to scale 10 customers a day, right? You're not going to be able to make that business bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't go if you can't go more than 10, you can get somebody else and they can do 10, but then you run out of space to do things at your business, right? So let's say internet-based businesses are very scalable, right? Because I can literally, the algorithm can pick up my thing and millions of people can see it, and I can sell millions of product at one time, right? If I have the product, right? If I can afford the product, right? So you have to be able to mentally come up with that, right? Most people say, oh, well, I want to make $1 million a year. Well, say you only got a 10% profit margin, that means you had to make 10 million to make that million, right? If you only had a 10% profit margin, right? So keep that in mind, right? And then how many products did you have to buy to make 10 million so that you can make your million, right? So it's, the ability to scale is, what makes you that in that millionaire fast lane, right? All right, and then the last one, which most people have problems with, is time, right? So most people are never going to be able to pull themselves out of their business, right? They don't have a margin high enough to pull themselves out to pay someone to do the work for them, right? And most people are never, because when you first start a business, you're basically cash poor, right? You're basically word of mouth, cash poor. You got a good product. You got a good reason to be there, right? Everybody needs you, but you're stuck in that business, right? And that's where you want to get away from that, right? You need to figure out a way to make a high enough margin to be able to pull yourself out of the business. Now, it might be 10 years before you decide to pull yourself out of the business, but you don't want to be that 80-year-old man still sitting in your store because you don't have enough margin, to pull out when you're only making $60K a year sitting in your store 80 hours a week, right? That's not what we want. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for the slow lane. We're looking for the fast lane, right? And the fast lane, when you take yourself out, that means the business is sellable, right? You can actually sell the business to someone, right? Because you have a big enough margin to get that, right? So these are the sense commandments, right? Need, entry, control, scale, and time. And if you go through your business and design your business to meet these needs, to meet these commandments, then you are going to be on the millionaire fast lane, right? Now, the millionaire fast lane is still not necessarily 1 year, and everybody thinks, oh, in a year I'm going to be making $1 million, and that's not necessarily the case, right? Most businesses pop off because a celebrity decides to wear your brand or promote your brand for free, or they just like you, or they like your cause, whatever. And you have to be prepared for if that celebrity actually picks up your product, especially when you're sending them out every month to them, right? So keep that in mind. I'm Nate. I'm the Fit Future MD. Pick up that free health and nutrition guide. Get on my list and learn how I market to my customer, right? Or be my customer and buy my products, right? Join the mentor program. You DM me on Instagram to join the mentor program, and shop at Ensorsale.com, right? Change your mindset, change what you see every day, and then actually become successful at something, right? Because you can do it. That's the great thing about business is you don't have to be an A player to win at business. You just have to be disciplined and follow these commandments, right? So I'm Nate. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.